And we're back talking now health news. Type 2 diabetes management continues to be a challenge for so many people, with nearly 40% of patients stopping their medication within the first year. A new report from the University of Virginia Health highlights a growing range of treatment options, including both traditional medicines and emerging alternatives designed to improve long-term patient adherence. Joining me now, the professor of the Departments of Internal Medicine and Psychiatry at the University of Virginia Health Sciences Center, Daniel Cox, and we thank you so much for being with us, Dr.
Thank you,
Cox.
Darren.
You know, when we talk about type 2 diabetes, a lot of people, particularly we see many in the inner cities, really deal with the type 2 diabetes problem. And it's something where we find that people are diagnosed, people get prescribed, and somewhere along the line, there is a disconnect between the time they're prescribed medicine and they just drop off and stop taking that medication. And I just love to get an insight as to why are we seeing people stop?
Well, people stop for a variety of reasons, one of which may be cost, one of which may be access to a pharmacy, one of which may be just side effects of the medications.
And when we talk about this in particular, stopping, treatment options are varied now down through the years. Where are we with regards to the potential for different treatment options?
Well, the good news is that there's a whole host of treatment options ranging from medication to surgery to the new GLP-1 agonists, the injectable medications. And generally speaking, they're all reasonably effective, but they are only effective if people employ them 7 days a week, 365 days a year for the rest of their life, because type 2 diabetes, once it's developed, is a lifelong condition.
Yeah. And for people who ask, how does a person arrive at type 2 diabetes? How do you answer that?
Well, um, it is it can be a genetic factor, it can be, and largely is, a lifestyle factor. When you look at developing countries, as the countries become more developed, as they have access to more food, have access to more conveniences, you see the incidence of diabetes steadily climb. And that is because of two primary reasons. One is diets change, and two is that physical activities drop off. And these are two central factors to the management of diabetes. So if you have plenty of carbohydrates to eat, starchy foods to eat, and you don't have to get up and be physically active to survive, those are two deadly contributions to the development and exacerbation of type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. And as I look, I'm thinking about glucose monitors right now and the emergence of glucose monitors. As glucose monitors are more and more in the communities, how effective do you find them to be?
Well, there's two types, generally speaking, of glucose monitors. One is where you prick your finger, get a blood sample, put it in a machine, and get a reading. And those are quite accurate and reasonably convenient these days. The alternative is continuous glucose monitoring, where you tape a sensor to the underside of your arm and then it displays on your phone, like you can maybe be able to see on my phone, where I get an immediate reading of what my blood glucose is without any pricking of my finger. And at the bottom, you see the curve of where my blood glucose has been all morning. And this information empowers the individual to make decisions. So it will tell you which foods that you routinely eat push your blood glucose up a lot and which ones do not. It'll tell you which types of physical activities bring your blood glucose down. And learning that information relative to yourself, your own body, and your own lifestyle will help you make choices. Make choices of foods that don't push your blood glucose up and physical activities that, in fact, do bring your blood glucose down. So it will educate you. it can motivate you. So if you see your blood glucose has dropped a lot, or has not gone up much. So, for example, if you eat oatmeal with some bananas and maybe some raisins in there, and for breakfast, and you see your blood glucose jump up 150 points, but if you eat instead scrambled eggs, your blood glucose may only go up 10 points. And with that information, you're being empowered to make those choices that minimize your blood glucose elevations or how much it goes up.
Yeah.
You may see yourself after dinner, maybe sitting in the recliner watching TV or sitting in front of your computer all evening. And you'll notice that your blood glucose goes up after dinner, but it never comes back down. And then that's contrast to if after dinner you take a brisk walk, you do chores outside, you're physically active, and that activity brings your blood glucose down. So, with continuous glucose monitoring, which is available over the counter now and can also be covered by some insurances, uh, you are empowered to know which foods and activities impact your blood glucose in the way that you want.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Cox, I want to talk about the GEM program. It's something that you have actually put together. And you put this program together to help out in the fight against diabetes. And it's also actually worked for you. For somebody who doesn't know about it, bring us up to speed.
Okay, GEM stands for Glucose Everyday Matters. And basically, it's a 4-session program where people first look at what their routine activities are and how their routine choices are impacting their blood glucose. So they just become more aware of what's going on in their daily routine that affects their blood glucose. The second unit focuses on physical activity, not necessarily going to the gym or aerobic dance, but just physical activity around your house and how to use physical activity to bring your blood glucose down. The third chapter in the program focuses on how to prevent your blood glucose from going up a lot in the first place by making food choices that work with your body and your available foods that prevent high blood glucose. And then the fourth unit very simply focuses on, okay, now you've learned how to control your diabetes. How do you continue this for the duration of your diabetes? In other words, how do you continue this altered lifestyle for the rest of your life to be in control of your own condition? And then with our program, we're actually doing a study. We give people continuous glucose monitors. We give them Fitbits. And Fitbits or some sort of activity monitor, you may just use your smartphone, gives you feedback in terms of how much physical activity am I doing? How much physical activity did I do? Am I doing as much as I thought I did? Have I not done much today and I need to do more? These sorts of things.
For yourself, you're not just a person that's prescribing it. You're saying, look, I've done it myself, 15 years yourself through the GEM program, putting yourself into remission. For those who may be out there watching and saying, listen, you know, he's not just actually talking the talk, he's actually walking the walk. Share with our viewers the success that you feel by walking the walk.
Well, when I was an NIH researcher on diabetes for about 20 years, and then all of a sudden I realized I having to urinate a lot, drink a lot of water, having blurred vision. I came back from the bathroom one night and told my wife, I said, "Oh, I've got diabetes." And I went to the hospital, took my own blood test, and affirmed that I had it. And at that point, I knew I would prefer not to do medications if I didn't need to, because medications is generally a downward spiral. You start off on metformin, then you increase the dose, then you add additional medications, and then eventually down the road, you may end up on insulin. So that was one option I would rather not pursue. The other option at the time was just losing weight, and I really wasn't that overweight, and I hadn't been very successful trying to lose weight in the past. So I started to look for alternative approaches. And that's when I came upon the two basic ideas that certain carbohydrates push your blood glucose up, physical activity brings it down, and how can you combine those two to be in control of your diabetes. And so, with the support of my wife, who does a lot of the cooking and shopping, we changed our lifestyle where when I got started on when I developed diabetes, a meal was not a meal unless I had either rice or potatoes or pasta, some starch, and all those had to go because all those push your blood glucose up. I typically had cold cereal in the morning because it was convenient and it was my habit. And I found out that cereals push your blood glucose up. So I had to engage in a lot of new food choices, which in fact brought my glycosylated hemoglobin from a 10.3 down to below 6.5, which is your measure of diabetes control.
Wow. Dr. Costa, amazing story. We got to leave it there, but I'm going to tell you this. We're going to bring you back, and I'm going to have my producer make sure we reach out to bring you back, because there was a couple more things I want to talk about. And namely, I can't get at it now because they're wrapping me up, but I want to talk about definitely how weight loss and some of these weight loss drugs actually contribute to in the fight against type 2 diabetes. We'll bring you back. We'll talk more about it. But Dr. Cox, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Glad to help.
Oh, thank you. All right, now if you want more information and you can't wait till we bring them back, guess what? Go visit the website, uvahealth.com. You can see Dr. Cox's information there. We encourage you to don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.